Everybody, this is Perch, and I've got a question here about crowdfunding, and I've talked about crowdfunding before. Obviously, finished the Gemini Jump campaign, getting another one ready to go. If I have a brand with these campaigns, it's going to be print the book ahead of time, then do the campaign, and then ship it out immediately. I want to see 10 books, 10 campaigns all go out where the fulfillment all happens within a week. That's what's going to happen. So that's as I put them out, that's where things are going to go. Obviously, it's going to take a month now of pause while I get the move done, but then once it's all moved, ready to go. Anyway, so this mail comes out, and before I read this to you, I just want to say right out the gate, none of my answers are intended as a shot to anyone. I can say with 99% truth, I'll explain the 1% in a minute, that I really don't have a good handle on who's fulfilled and who's not fulfilled and who's late. I know lots of people are late, kind of vaguely, because I hear it come up every now and then. I see people make comments, but I don't really have a good idea, a good sense of how late or who's late or any of that. I will say I've backed a ton of campaigns that have been out there, either with Shop or since Shop has been closed through my own personal account. I usually back, I don't know, most campaigns. And I'll say at this point that I am aware, last time looked, I want to say less than half of the things I had backed have fulfilled. And that doesn't feel good. I don't mean to sound douchey when I say this. I haven't kept good track of who's fulfilled and who is not. I mean, there's records. I've written things down, but I don't actively go look at it. So I couldn't, like, off the top of my head, tell you where things are at. But anecdotally, I would say we're under half, under 50%, have not fulfilled yet and are late either by, I don't know. I know I have one campaign in there that's 6 years late at this point. It's not coming. I mean, I think I can admit that. I feel like, some people have stolen from me, for sure. But let me read this mail and then talk a little bit about what this mail's about. So the mail goes, I'll tell you what. There's no even hello Perch. I mean, come on. No, I'm joking here. I tell you what, it is hard to back someone these campaigns. Some of these, I think, it's hard to back some of these campaigns when it's been months without an update. They aren't doing each other any favors by not regularly communicating with their backers about the status of their projects. Glad some are completed before doing Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I'm convinced there is a direct correlation to success here. The faster you get people to comics, the better the campaign. Well, I hope so. That's the mail. I hope that's the case. It bears saying, and it's interesting because I've seen some people deny this, but I don't know why. It bears saying that some of the campaigns and some of the backing of some of the campaigns is less about ever getting comic and more about showing support. Not unlike just a GoFundMe is you're raising money for someone for some purpose. But, I would guess that there's at least a percentage of people out there that never really care about the comic ever being delivered. Their goal is to support somebody for whatever reason. Maybe they felt the person was treated wrongly. Maybe they just like the personality. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. I mentioned a while back that I don't do super chats when I live stream. A bunch of reasons for that, but I want you to keep your money and I want you to go out and buy comics with it. Maybe some of the people who bought Gemini Jump had no interest in that comic, but that was a way of kind of saying thank you for the channel. I don't know. Maybe. You never have to do that for me. I want you to take that money. I want you to go buy comics, whatever comics you enjoy. But definitely some of these campaigns are backed for moral support reasons. I don't want to use the word ideological reasons because I think that's bringing too much baggage into that comment. I think it's easier to simply say for moral support because they like the person who's running it and they want to show their gratitude in some fashion. Communication is really important. Some people have criticized that I didn't communicate enough in Gemini Jump, and you're probably right. I was struggling with how much to talk about the comic. In the last week of the campaign, in the morning videos, I put in a little, I think, 30-second trailer at the beginning of the video. I didn't really like doing that. I don't like ads. I don't like, and I don't want to bother people with that. I don't want to bother people about the campaign. Now, what's funny is people will tell me and have told me, but we want you to. We want to hear about those things. And but I'm just that's just me. I'm old fashioned. Maybe I just can't wrap my head quite around that as a concept. But in general, I think the other thing, and I'm going to do a post-mortem on Gemini Jump with Larry and kind of things we thought went well, things we thought didn't go well, just do it all very transparently. It is, I think having the comic already printed meant it was more difficult for me. I mean, the updates were harder to do, I will say. Like, I can't do an update of like, well, we're sending it to the printer. We'd already sent it to the printer. I mean, the updates I could have done, I suppose, is, well, I looked over at the box and I lovingly stroked it, knowing that it was already in my office and ready to be sent off to you. I felt a tingle deep down, knowing that I'd be fulfilling these projects very quickly. I'm joking. See, now I've made it weird. Now you won't back the next one. I think that communication is very key, but I think in a lot of cases, people who are getting into crowdfunding do not know what they're doing. And when I say that, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, they're doing it for the first time. And logistically, there's a lot of stuff to figure out. And there's a lot of bad information out there as well. I've heard a lot of people talk about media mail and what you can and can't do with media mail. And there are some very definitive rules. But I would recommend that the best way to address this stuff, don't listen to a YouTube video or I mean, you can, but before you decide on what you're going to do, and I think before you do a campaign, what you should do is head over to whatever postal service you're going to use to fulfill your campaign. Head on over there, introduce yourself, tell them that you're going to ship out 100 boxes or whatever it happens to be, 500, 1,000, and ask them, hey, I haven't done this before. Would you give me some advice on, what are the rules? If I want to do media mail, what can I do and can't I do? Why trust that person over, say, a YouTuber or even Google? Well, if you search for this in Google, first of all, you're going to get 10 different results. Go to the actual post that's doing this for you. And in many cases, if the post is going to use their address, kind of their mail out service, they don't want this stuff coming back to you. They're going to give you an answer that they believe works, and they're in the business of doing this. So again, listen to some videos, get some advice, fine. But before you call it a day, go and actually talk to the people who are going to be fulfilling this. Same thing with your printer. Whoever's printing this thing for you, a lot of them have online services. You can just put the material into the form and call it a day. Well, there's also a phone number. If you're going to spend $1,000 or more with a printer, call the printer at least once and say, hey, I'm about to do this. Any suggestions? Should I convert this to CMYK, or how do you want the files, or what do you want, TIFFs? Do you want JPEG? Like what is it you want? Why shouldn't I use a JPEG? There's some good reasons why you shouldn't use a JPEG. But call the printer and ask. Remember, you're spending money with these people, and part of spending money means they give you some service. So giving the service better information. If you get that better information, you're going to be more likely to have a successful, print and successful mail, and your campaign's going to be more successful, and you'll have more things to talk about. But I also think that with campaigns, a lot of people are judging the campaign that they want to run based off of, super popular YouTube personalities. And that is a mistake. Your metric for success or failure on your campaign should really amount to two things. Are you getting a lot of people into your campaign, meaning you're building up an audience, a customer list, a mailing list? And number two, are you profitable? Are you making money or losing money on your campaign? If you're making money, don't worry about it. I saw somebody like, well, I did a campaign, but I wasn't as successful as Shane Davis. Who cares? Shane Davis his success on his book is irrelevant to your success. I mean, that might be a nice metric to dream to, but his success is related to him. Your success is related to you. And for you need to be cash flow positive. You need to not lose money. You need to be able to fulfill what you do. And you need to start to build up an audience. That's it. A lot of people, they want to rate themselves, or they want to judge themselves based on, in many cases, people who have, a pre-existing name for themselves. If you're trying to judge yourself against Sean Murphy, that's crazy. You don't have Sean Murphy's name. You don't have that background. So, trying to judge your success based on his is ridiculous. Again, focus on things that are achievable for you. You're going to have a better time. You're going to have more to talk about. It's going to be better to communicate, and focus on what matters. The other thing I'd mention is don't rely on YouTube and streams to get the word out about your project. You can still do those things, it's fine, but backers have a communication channel. If you're working with Kickstarter, Indiegogo, there's a channel in order to communicate with the people who've given you money. You need to use that channel. If you just give all the best updates on a stream, which includes all kinds of people who backed your project, people who didn't, sends kind of a nasty message to the people who actually backed you that the information's just flowing out to everyone, backers and non-backers alike. Make sure that you give the people who are actually making a commitment to you something a little bit more. Again, I'm not saying don't stream. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying make sure that the backers get something regularly special, at least as much as what the mass public gets. I think that's very important. And in particular, when the campaign is over, you've got to then communicate a lot. It's over. Here's what happens next. Here's where you get, your stuff. Here's where links are and everything else. I sent out links to digital. A bunch of those links got caught into spam filters. The fact that when spam filters means some people didn't get them. So in the update, it says, if you haven't gotten your mail yet, make sure you reach out and we'll get it for you. And you've just got to make sure at the end, you're over communicating everybody getting what they paid for. That's how you're going to wind up with happy customers. Anyway, thanks again to all the people who backed the campaign. And yeah, late projects suck. I agree. And it is hard to back campaigns when a lot of them do not fulfill, for sure. No doubt about it. Thoughts, questions, other ideas, suggestions for other people doing crowdfunding, let me know in the comments below. Let everybody know in the comments below. And thanks for listening.